Smart Water. This episode brought to you by Smart Water.
There's actually tequila in this teacup. Let's talk about, and that's how we're going into it?
No.
Where's your tea?
I have water. I'm hydrating. Tequila in a teacup.
Let's talk about the 5 lies about fat loss.
Want to hit them with the 5 lies?
Yeah. You want me to, count you down?
Count me down. What's
1.
Cardio's king for fat loss.
Okay. 2.
Working out is the best stress reliever.
Okay. 3.
You have to eat 1,200 calories or less if you want to lose weight.
4.
Oh, carbs make you fat.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's classic.
5. Am I on 5?
5.
5.
The reason you're dieting is because you want to lose weight. And then maybe we'll throw in a bonus one.
Okay, what's the bonus one?
I'll tell you when we get there.
Okay.
Okay.
So I feel like in our experience, we hear so many women constantly saying I need to do cardio. I have to do cardio to lose fat. I just have to do more and more and more. I'm on the elliptical. I'm on the Stairmaster. I'm running outside. You're literally just doing everything possible. HIIT cardio.
When I'm at the gym, I literally watch these 2 women every single day. They go from the stationary bike to the elliptical to the treadmill and then to the stair stepper. And
Yeah.
I'm you've just spent an hour and a half doing different cardio machines. An hour and a half on just cardio.
There's that misconception that cardio burns more fat, right, than strength training.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what we're told though, right? I feel that's usually the common theme when you're told to lose weight. It's well, just eat less and do more cardio, exercise more. And more people exercise, more people equate cardio with exercise than they think about actually lifting weights, especially as a woman, because I feel that's what's kind of pushed towards. It's the beach body workouts, it's the quick Thai bow and all of that shit, Russell Simmons.
And it's always the HIIT workouts and all those fun videos where you're jumping around with pink dumbbells. Those are things they're marketed with women who are have that very toned look, and then women have in their minds, so if I do anything outside of that, pick up really heavy dumbbells or strength train with the barbell or anything, I'm just gonna get bulky and look like a man.
Yeah.
And the issue is that the women who are on the cover of the HIIT workouts, they didn't do cardio to look like that. They are strength training to look like that.
Right, but I think it's like you said, it's 2 things. Number 1, that's kind of what's marketed towards women to lose fat is do all the cardio. It's the quick HIIT workouts. Do 30 minutes while your kids are sleeping, or squeeze in 20 minutes between the time you get home from work and you start cooking dinner. It's those quick things that you want to get in. But I also think a big piece of it too is because when women try to lose weight and they go to the gym for the first time, there's a lot of gym intimidation.
Yeah,
and so you make that beeline to the cardio area because it's safe. You just have to get on a machine, push a button, and move your feet.
Yeah, and it's also something that on the actual machine itself, you can look at, even though that's not accurate, you can look at the calories being burned, and that equates to you of, okay, so whatever I ate today, now I can subtract 500 calories, which I think we should kind of, right. But let's kind of dive into, and I'll put your science cap on, of why.
Put your science cap on.
Why strength training is actually better for fat loss than cardio. Go.
Okay. Well, there's 2 things, right? So just the same way that your body becomes adapted over time to low calories, right? You're eating in a caloric deficit, your body starts to downregulate to become adapted to that low level of calories because your body's only goal is to survive, thrive, and keep you alive. So it's doing whatever it has to do to preserve energy. The same way that happens when you eat in a calorie deficit, same thing happens when you do cardio, right? Your body just sees it as a calorie expenditure. It doesn't know that you're trying to do 6 hours of cardio a day to fit in your bikini to go to Cabo for spring break. All it knows is that I'm expending stupid amounts of energy, and I need to quickly become adapted to that and regulate all of my system so that I don't burn as many calories or output as many calories during that same window. So what happens over time is, let's say you start out with 20 minutes of cardio and you're burning X amount of calories. If you're doing that consistently, your body's going to be okay, over time, it's a smart machine. It kind of, calibrates, regulates, and says, I'm going to slowly start burning fewer calories over time during that 20 minutes. So now, in order to burn the same 300 calories, you're going to have to do 30 minutes. And then you're gonna have to do 40 minutes and 50 minutes to elicit that same like calorie burn. So that's number one, is that you're kind of digging your body into a hole of having to do more and more cardio.
I'm sorry, you have pick your arm up. You have, like wizard hair. Okay.
That's number one. Second reason why cardio is not the best, right, and why you want to strength train instead, is because strength training builds lean muscle. Okay, lean muscle is really important because it helps your body burn more calories throughout the day, right? More lean muscle tissue means that your body burns more calories, like both when it's active and when it's at rest, right? So just sitting on the couch, making dinner, even while you're sleeping, your body's always burning calories. And when you have more lean muscle tissue, your body, just by nature of having more lean muscle tissue, is burning more calories than if you have less muscle tissue. That's why it's important to strength train, because you're building up that lean muscle tissue, increasing the number of calories that your body would burn throughout the day. So, I mean, I feel like the main takeaway, right, is that cardio is not superior for fat loss. And we have to be clear that even if you're looking at the machine and it's telling you burned 500 calories in 30 minutes, which you didn't, those are like grossly overrated, right? Like those are ridiculous. You probably burned half of that. But even if you burn more calories in a 30-minute cardio session than you do in a 30-minute strength training session, you will burn more calories over time from strength training. It creates like a longer term metabolic
like you're
effect.
burning more calories like in that window of doing cardio than you would in the window of doing strength training, but throughout the day your body's burning more calories
because it has more lean muscle tissue.
Exactly.
Because you've strength trained and increased that lean muscle tissue.
Bingo.
So, gonna kick this one over to you. I said,
Did I get a science hat or no?
Yeah, can I say that?
Okay,
Can I
I'll just
prompt
say
it
it
first? No, let me prompt it first. So I said that number two, working out is the best stress reliever. That's what I said myth number two is. So now we pop your science hat on, and you can tell us.
Let me do my best Jessica impression.
You have to blink a lot.
I'm going to be very serious here and have hair in my mouth all the time. You hear so often, like, and we've said it too, of like I can't wait to I'm so stressed today, I can't wait to go to the gym and just like release the stress. Like I need something to like kind of break up how I'm feeling. And while, you know, going to the gym and working out, it does like release like endorphins and like serotonin and all this like sciencey stuff that's happening in your body, which is like what makes you feel good from the workout. Working out is actually a stressor on your body. So what's happening is like if you're in a situation where like you're really trying to lose weight and you're chronically stressed, where like, you know, like your digestion's kind of off, like you just like your stomach's in knots, like you're just not feeling your best because you're so stressed, the last thing you want to do is go work out, because cortisol is heightened, and cortisol is your stress hormone. So the last thing we want to do when we're stressed is add more stress to that stress. When our cortisol is super high and we're stressed, your body is not in an optimal state for fat loss. And so what's going to happen is your body's going to say, okay, like we're shutting all this down. We're going to hold on to this body fat until the stress goes away.
Yeah, so, it's kind of like what do I prioritize first, right?
Yeah.
Your body's still super hardwired to feel like it was back in like, you know, the caveman days when we were hunters and gatherers, and it doesn't know, again, that like, you know, you're stressed because you're working out, or you're stressed because your husband's being a dick, or your kids are, you know, whatever, your boss is frustrating. It doesn't understand all of that. All it knows is that I'm stressed. And like in the past, stress was, I'm stressed because I'm starving. I'm stressed because I'm being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. You're in that kind of like fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And so everything else, every other bodily system, right, is deprioritized, including fat loss. So we need to, like you said, right, if you're already stressed, adding on more stress and working out more and more and more is just increasing that cortisol hormone. And so just we're creating a place that's not optimal for your body to lose fat.
And so just in terms of like if you feel like you're at a point where you're kind of stuck with your fat loss, maybe take a look at how stressed are you? And are you maybe working out too much and that's contributing to more stress? Maybe take a few rest days to like try to take a step back from it and see how that works for you.
Yeah, we had a client that was like chronically stressed, like between work, kids, everything like that. She was working out 2 times a day, sometimes, you know, adding in a third cardio session, that type of a thing. When she started working with us, we pulled back to only working out 3 times a week, and she's down like 10 pounds. And it's ridiculous.
All right. Number 3, you have to eat 1,200 calories or less to lose weight.
I'm glad you remember. I don't know why we're told this. Actually, I do know why we're told this, but we'll save that for another day. I feel like most women are told at some point in their lives, like, magic number in order to lose weight is 1,200 calories. So if you're here, that's probably something that you believed at one point in your life. But what happens when we slash calories like super, super low, like down to 1,200 calories, right? Eventually, or to start, you're going to lose weight, right? You're naturally going to lose weight because you're in a severe calorie deficit. It's science. But the problem with scale weight is that a lot of times when you're eating that low, you're losing weight, but it's not just fat that you're losing. You're also losing muscle tissue. You are losing some fat. You're losing water weight, like all of those types of things. So while you initially see that like steep scale drop, it's not because you're losing actual fat. And so the thing with that is, right, when you lose muscle tissue, you're losing fat, you're losing kind of water weight. You hate when I say this word, but it's like...
Which one? I hate a lot of words.
That I say.
Not like that. Just like you have like certain phrases that you just like
so
say
mean.
over, like stopgap.
Okay,
cadence.
Stopgap. So when you lose muscle tone and you lose fat, and you don't have any type of, muscle underneath to support that like lean, toned look that most of us are after, you ended up looking like a
melted candle.
You're like drippy.
Not a good look.
It's not a good look. So that's the problem, is that you think that, okay, I need to lose more weight and more weight to get like that toned look, when in reality what you really need to do is stop trying to lose weight and try to like gain some lean muscle to like pad out.
Which you can't do
frame.
on 1,200 calories.
Which you can't do on 1,200 calories. So that's a problem. And then like feeding into that, 1,200 calories is basically like what an infant needs in order to survive. So you're a grown-ass woman eating 1,200 calories a day, like there's something wrong. Yeah. And the thing is that most of us can stick to like a 1,200 calorie diet because we have enough willpower, right? We can white knuckle it through that 1,200 calories for a set amount of time. But after a while, we lose motivation for a number of reasons, like, mentally, emotionally, also physiologically. And we realize that like, okay, I'm starving. I'm really hungry. I can't eat all the things that I wanted to eat. I'm not having fun anymore. And so then that's when we start to see like you back cycle into like more of a binge episode.
But
right?
The problem is that like when this keeps happening and you keep doing these super low calorie diets that are very restrictive, like, it's not sustainable. So it's unreasonable to think that you would be able to do that long term. Mm-hmm. And what happens is if you don't realize that, you think that you're the problem, you just can't stay motivated. Mm-hmm. And so when you fail and you have your binge episodes, you look at yourself as I'm the failure. Mm-hmm. But in reality, doing the 1,200 calorie diets or the super low calorie diets from the start, like that is setting you up for failure.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? Is like you get set up for failure from the start because you're doing the low calorie diet. You restrict. That leads to a binge episode. You kind of go back to like living your life like normal for a while, eating whatever the fuck you want, and then you decide, okay, I'm actually really miserable again with my weight and body image. Something has to change. Let me go back to the 1,200 calories because I'm really miserable. I want that quick fix. So you slash calories all over again, and we just keep perpetuating the same cycle. Yep. Problem is, your body's a smart machine. It, again, like it calibrates to understand, okay, I remember what happened last time she did this, and she's been doing this for the last 20 years. I remember what the pattern looks like, so I'm going to like pump the brakes here. We're going to make it a little bit more difficult for her to lose weight this time, lose body fat. Your body gets adjusted to those cycles. So what you find over time is that it almost starts to feel like it's harder and harder for you to lose weight, even though you're trying all of like the same things that used to work. But the problem is you're not considering like the physiological, the hormonal, and the metabolic damage that you're actually doing by eating 1,200 calories a day.
Number four.
Yeah. Number 4 was carbs make you fat. Carbs make you fat. True or false?
False.
This is diet myths.
Okay. So carbs absolutely do not make you fat. There is not like categorically one food that makes you fat. Like consuming too many calories is what makes you fat. The problem is that when people are, primarily eating carby foods or like fatty foods, like those foods have a higher caloric value. And so if you're eating those types of foods excessively, naturally you're going to be eating more calories, and that's going to put you in a calorie surplus, and that's why you gain weight. So it's not the actual like carbs itself that are making you fat, or like fats or sugars itself that are making you fat. It's the overconsumption of those types of foods that is making you gain weight because you have a lot of calories.
I always like to like reference here, like there's a study that a professor did, right, where he literally just ate Twinkies every single day for 28 days, but he ate an amount of calories, like he ate a number of Twinkies that made up a number of calories that put him in a calorie deficit, and he actually lost weight by only eating Twinkies. So it's not because like Twinkies have carbs and you eat the Twinkie and the carb actually makes you fat, because like broccoli has carbs in it and green beans have carbs in them. Those things don't make you fat. It's the like
it comes down to the calories.
Yes.
Myth number 5.
Ooh, we kind of touched on this one.
We kind of touched on it, but I think that you want to say the word again, so let's do it.
You love
myth number 5, you are dieting to lose weight.
Okay.
Why is that a myth?
So, yeah, you're probably like, of course I'm dieting to lose weight, idiot. If I had to guess, if you're watching this, chances are you've Googled some shit like how to lose weight fast, how to lose 10 pounds in the next week, what are the best foods for weight loss, how to lose 5 pounds quickly. And I know that you've done it because I know I've done it and I know you've done it. So that tells me you're focused on losing weight. You're not focused on losing fat. Well, Melissa, I'm so glad you asked. No, it's not. Weight loss and fat loss are two very different things. So,
why?
Okay. So you know how like we said, right, when you start eating 1,200 calories and you lose weight really quickly, or like you start keto and you see that like massive scale drop initially, most of the time like when that happens, it's actual weight loss. And remember what we talked about. And number 1, weight loss can be water weight, which is usually mostly water weight. It can be muscle loss, okay? And it can also be some fat loss, but it's predominantly going to be water weight loss. So it's just the number on the scale, or like, you know, the physical pull of gravity of your body towards earth. That's what you're losing, is that number on the scale. You might not actually be losing fat, right? And that's why when we talked about if you're doing cardio all the time and you never pick up a dumbbell, well, what happens? You get that skinny fat look. You look like a
melted candle.
I'll just make you say it for forever. So that's mostly weight loss. Yeah. What most of us want when we think about going on a diet and we look at like that picture we have in our minds of like that end goal, you're thinking of like the chick on the cover of like Shape magazine, and you're like, okay, I want like, you know, the capped shoulders, and I want a nice, like those nice round glutes and like defined muscles, like strong arms. That's what you want. If that's what you want, well, like we talked about in the beginning, you need to put on lean muscle tissue and you need to pull off body fat. You don't necessarily need to be worried about like losing weight. So I would argue that that's a big diet myth, is most of us aren't necessarily looking to lose weight. You're more looking to strip off body fat.
I think that you wanted to do a bonus myth truth.
Ooh, can I throw this one at you? I'm just going to throw it out there.
No, you said that you had one in your head.
I do, but I'm going to throw it out there and I'm going to make you explain why.
There is.
There is. Okay. So, the myth, bonus myth, there is a single diet that is best for fat loss. I think you know where I'm going with this, because, right, like if like you've worked like in an office setting or you've communicated with anybody that's ever tried to lose weight, they're like, oh my God, I tried the F factor and like I lost so much weight and that is definitely it. Or, oh my God, everyone's doing keto and like that is definitely it.
I mean, I think it just like feeds into like the whole diet industry of like constantly pushing like this is like the number one thing that you need to do for fat loss, and like it's always like this like shiny new like thing that people are trying to like jump on the bandwagon and do, and like people are just like desperately looking for like this, you know, magic pill to take to lose fat because you're so desperate to do it. And what happens is, because it's not something that like those diets are not taking into consideration like you as a dynamic human, like your personality, your commitments in life, like your responsibilities, the way that like you can best be adherent to something, it's not working for you. And so by you trying to like squeeze yourself into these different like diet boxes, you're actually setting yourself up for failure from the start. So there is no one best diet for fat loss. Like some people really thrive on keto because like they just genuinely don't like carbs. I don't know what's wrong with you if you don't like carbs, but like they do better on that. Other people like that love carbs, they're like, I tried to do keto and I don't know what's wrong with me. Like I can't keep the motivation to do it. I'm like, well, you like carbs, so it's not the best diet for you.
Right.
So I think that, you know, kind of breaking that myth of like there just is no best diet. Like there's not like one best solution out there for fat loss. It comes down to what's going to work best for you, what can you be most adherent to, and then what's the most sustainable approach for you. you don't think we should do like an ending like we've done on all the other ones?
Do we do ending on the other ones?
Kind of.
Okay. Yeah, what should we end it with? How should we wrap it up?
I don't know. We can just end it.
Yeah, I feel like you need to consider like what diet is best for you.
Okay.